Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on the government's policies and initiatives. I'm your host, Vaughn Davis, sitting in for Enthros Campbell. Today we'll be talking about the introduction and use of a digital currency for Jamaica. But what is that and how will it work? We have with us Mr. Mario Griffiths, Director of the Payment System, Policy and Development Department at the Bank of Jamaica. He's here to tell us more about that and other things as well. Mr. Griffiths, welcome to the program. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Mr. Davis, and thank you for having me.
Now, first things first, Mr. Griffiths, explain to us what exactly is digital currency, and does it differ from the type of currency we're accustomed to using?
Well, I like to focus on one specific angle of digital currency, and that's a central bank digital currency, just to focus our conversation. Central bank digital currency, for short, CBDC, is an advanced version of money. It's money in a digital form. So it's similar to banknotes and coins, so just call it money, I would call it that. And it will be issued by the Bank of Jamaica, and it's backed by the Bank of Jamaica, and it's also a liability of the Bank of Jamaica.
So being backed by the Bank of Jamaica, does that mean it's legal tender and we can spend it accordingly?
Yes, that's the intention, and we're working on ensuring that we amend the requisite legislation to ensure that central bank digital currency is legal tender.
So to be clear, we will be able to conduct all the functions of money with the central bank digital currency?
Yes, very clear. You know, it's similar. Let me just say CBDC is money.
Okay, it's money.
It's money.
All right. So talk to me about the legislation and policies that will be put in place to ensure that it is protected and that, you know, people can spend it accordingly.
I mentioned that we want to make central bank digital currency legal tender. So we're working on the Bank of Jamaica Act. That's the act that gives the Bank of Jamaica the authority to issue banknotes and coins in our economy. In terms of the policy, as we walk through the pilot, we will ensure that all the various policy decisions that need to be made as it pertains to central bank digital currency, we have those documented, and right now we don't know exactly what those policies will be or what it will look like, but we certainly will, at the end of the pilot, be sure to have those policies documented.
So with the introduction of this kind of innovation, I can imagine there will be lots of opportunities and benefits to the financial system. So can you just talk to me about some of the benefits that will accrue from this initiative?
Sure. One of the number one benefits is financial inclusion, right? We want to ensure that a wide range of persons in Jamaica, citizens, have access to cash, money. You already have it, right? But we want to make it easy and convenient for persons walking around with large sums of cash. Cash in a digital form is one way of doing that. We also want to support, improvements in our retail payment systems. We know that, banknotes, coins is a retail payment instrument, debit cards, credit cards, as well as central bank digital currency. So we want to make it one of those payment instruments, I should say. Other benefits would include we want to support the government in terms of their care program and the distribution of those, the PATH program, that's also another benefit, as well as efficiencies, a number of efficiencies for the central bank, as well as cost reductions for businesses that manage money and the circulation of money throughout the economy.
So is the central bank digital currency similar to what we know as cryptocurrency?
No, it isn't similar. It's different, entirely different.
Okay.
Right? Both are in a digital form for sure. But let me just say that a central bank digital currency is issued and backed by a central authority. In our case, it's the Bank of Jamaica. It's a liability of the Bank of Jamaica. And I want to compare that to the cryptocurrencies that exist in the market. I won't say the names, but just to say that those are issued by a private entity. It's a claim on a private entity. Right, some are not centralized, some are decentralized, and there are a number of decision makers that we would not know of or know about. But in the case of a central bank digital currency, we want persons to come to us, the Bank of Jamaica, or their, wherever they have their wallet account, or their wallet, I should say, their deposit-taking institutions, their bank, their payment service providers. So it's totally different.
So, are there any risks associated with this digital currency? And if so, how do we mitigate those? I would imagine many persons, once they hear digital, it sounds some alarms bells. So how do we mitigate those risks?
You're correct. There are risks. There are a number of risks. One is the anti-money laundering and countering financing of terrorism. The second risk is around data privacy and data protection. And the third, which is a big item, we believe this is a major risk, that's cybersecurity. In terms of the anti-money laundering, what we have done, we have ensured that there is intermediation where the central bank will issue CBDC to financial institutions as well as authorized payment service providers that's regulated by the Bank of Jamaica. A user, me or you, will be able to open a wallet at these institutions. We call them wallet providers. So your wallet provider will open an account for you, and they will acquire all your information as they do now for a regular deposit or bank account. So it's your know your customer information, or your customer due diligence, CDD. So that's your name, your address, your TRN, your photo ID. So they will hold that information. So that risk is mitigated by the existing supervisory and regulatory framework that exists now. For a regular deposit account. In terms of the data privacy and the data protection, as I mentioned, only your institution will know that you are you. They will know that you're Vaughn Davis. They will know that I'm Mario for sure, and they will have our information, and they will ensure that that is protected. Not to mention the technology that's underneath the central bank digital currency decouples the money from your identity, right? So only the institution that you open your wallet will know or be able to identify you with the money.
All right.
Right.
Now, I understand that you're working with a central bank digital currency provider as you roll out this initiative to ensure that there's sufficient data protection and other kinds of protection. So talk to me about that process. How is that working out?
That's in terms of the vendor.
Yes.
All right. So there's a number of steps that we took to get there. What we did last year was made a decision that we wanted to go central bank digital currency. And we had about 43 proposals because we extended an invitation to technology solution providers to, team with the Bank of Jamaica to implement a central bank digital currency. And there are a number of steps. I won't get into the details of the steps, but we had some requirements. They met those requirements at the first phase. Second phase, we did a product demonstration. And the third phase is a product simulation where we had to touch and feel the product. At the end, eCurrency was the vendor that the Bank of Jamaica chose to partner with to issue the digital currency. So the Bank of Jamaica will be in full control of the technology itself. We've just partnered with a technology solution provider to support us in issuing central bank digital currency.
Now, as you move towards this digital currency, is it that you will be phasing out notes, coins, etc., or will there be some kind of balance struck in that regard?
We'll not be phasing out banknotes and coins. CBDC is a complement to cash. It's as cash-like as possible, so they will all coexist in the retail payments market. So you will definitely have central bank digital currency. You will also have banknotes, coins, debit card, credit cards, checks, online platforms, you name it.
All right, so there's still going to be cash people, all
Yes.
right? Now, let me ask you this. Now, how will the introduction of this central bank digital currency, this digital currency, assist in the thrust towards making Jamaica a digital economy?
As it says, as we said before, central bank digital currency is digital, right? So it's money in a digital form. We want to ensure that all transactions are in a digital form, right? We want to support the government and their digital transformation by ensuring that persons can easily access a wallet. They can easily register for a CBDC wallet. They can transact electronically using central bank digital currency. Not just, your day-to-day, but we also want you to be able to use it online. So that all depends on your wallet provider and the services that they provide to you as their customer.
All right, so from an economics perspective, what impact do you imagine this will have on the value of our currency and the cost of providing money to members of the public, etc.?
You've asked a question before on the, whether CBDC is similar to cryptocurrency. And
Right.
we know that cryptocurrencies tend to, their value tend to, I want to say, appreciate, depreciate, right? There's no steady value. But for central bank digital currency, it's 1-to-1. So if you have $1 Jamaican and you convert it to CBDC, central bank digital currency will be 1-for-1. So it's the same. And the technology affords you to, convert from central bank digital currency in a digital form back to paper form.
All right, fantastic. Technology is changing our world for the better, and digital currency is one part of the change we'll have to embrace. We'll continue to enlighten you on this, but let's take a quick break and come back to learn more about this monetary innovation. Stay with us. Welcome back to Get the Facts. We're talking about the move towards the use of a central bank issued digital currency. And here to tell us more about that is Mr. Mario Griffiths, Director of the Payment System Policy and Development Department in the Bank of Jamaica. Now, Mr. Griffiths, it's clear that the world is moving towards digital currencies. So what is the Bank of Jamaica doing to prepare Jamaica for that transition?
That's a very good question. I would have mentioned that we have reached out to seek the services of a technology solution provider, that's eCurrency Mint. It's a company out of Ireland, also with a location in California. But we have been doing a lot of work internally. We have set up our governance, we have our oversight committee, we have our steering committee, we have our project management center that's operating the project, and we also have our technical team that's working internally on the ground. We have also reached out to the key stakeholders that would include the telecommunication service providers. We have made contact with deposit-taking institutions, commercial banks, building societies, and merchant banks. We've also reached out to authorized payment service providers and a number of government agencies, such as the Ministry of Finance and the Public Service. We've also reached out to Tax Administration of Jamaica. We've also reached out to the toll operators because we want central bank digital currency to be used everywhere in Jamaica. And we've also reached out to our regulators, such as the Office of Utilities Regulations.
All right, fantastic. Now, I understand that before full-scale rollout of this central bank digital currency, there's going to be a pilot project. Now, talk to me about the objectives of the pilot project and what the public can expect. What will they see as this is rolled out and so on?
Okay, in terms of the pilot project, what we want to do is test the use of the central bank digital currency. We want to test a number of the use cases. So we want persons to conduct person-to-person payments, me paying to you or me paying to a vendor, a supermarket, you name whichever supermarket it is, or a restaurant of Jamaica. We want you to utilize central bank digital currency to make your payments. If you want to make payments for your taxes, we also want you to utilize central bank digital currency for that, or even online. Right, so that's where we're heading. And what we're doing in terms of the pilot, we want to test those use cases throughout the pilot. We want to test the ability to mint or create central bank digital currency, which will be shorter than the process for banknotes and coins, which takes approximately 9 months. So we want to create money. Right, in less than 15 minutes. So we want to test that in our pilot internally to the Bank of Jamaica. We also want to distribute the central bank digital currency to your wallet providers, your bank, your authorized payment service provider, who will then distribute CBDC to us as users within the wider economy.
All right, sounds very interesting and also a little bit complicated, but I leave that to the technocrats such as yourself to make things simpler. Okay, so from what I understand, the central bank digital currency is expected to be a hybrid system incorporating wholesale, retail, and cross-border transactions. Now, what exactly does that mean? Explain that for a layman such as myself.
Well, as we mentioned, the hybrid system is a combination of both wholesale and retail system. We're not really going cross-border right now. We want central bank digital currency to be utilized in Jamaica. Okay. But in terms of the hybrid system, it's just a model, right? You can go wholesale, you can utilize a wholesale model whereby the Bank of Jamaica only issues to a deposit-taking institution, a bank. You can also go direct retail, whereby the central bank will issue to the general public. But we have chosen a hybrid approach where we combine both the wholesale and the retail together, where we issue to your wallet provider, a bank or authorized payment service provider, who will then distribute to you or everybody in the economy to utilize. So that's the approach that we have taken.
Once again, I leave that to the better equipped persons to facilitate those kinds of transactions. I'm looking forward to seeing exactly how it works itself out. Now, the central bank will issue digital currency to all persons, but commercial banks and other financial institutions will also transact business with customers. So does that mean that persons will need to have a digital account with the central bank as well as a digital account with their financial institution?
No. All persons need to do is have one account with their wallet provider. You don't need to have an account. Well, you won't be able to have an account with the Bank of Jamaica because we want to utilize the existing infrastructure that's in the market. We want to utilize what the banks and authorized payment service providers already have. So that's one of the reasons why we chose eCurrency as our vendor, because they can leverage the existing systems that's in our economy. And that's the risk of bringing in new technology is high, and we wanted to ensure that we leverage what exists in Jamaica to easily distribute central bank digital currency. So no, we only need one account, but if you already have a bank account, then certainly there will be seamless transition between your bank account into your CBDC wallet.
So to be clear though, will the digital account be different or separate from one's personal account, and how will holders be able to access and utilize the different functions of the digital currency in this manner?
Well, it is different from your bank account. It's as I said before, it's money. It's cash in your pocket,
Right.
but just cash in a digital form. And in order to hold it in a digital form, you must have what we call a wallet, and that makes you a wallet holder. Now, the difference is it's not a bank account, because a bank account attracts interest, right? A bank account is a liability on a commercial bank. In the case of central bank digital currency, it is a liability of the central bank, and it's money in your pocket. Money in your pocket doesn't earn interest, right? Money in your wallet doesn't earn interest.
Yeah.
So we want to ensure that we replicate banknotes and coins or money as easily, as best as possible.
Will there be a cost to the account holder to maintain this digital account with Bank of Jamaica or anything like that?
Absolutely not. We want central bank digital currency to be free. Banknotes and coins, money in your purse, money in your wallet is free, money in your pocket is free. And we want to maintain that costless or zero cost to the customer.
So you touched on it before. We're almost out of time, but before we go, in order to use this new digital currency, I understand that customers will need to access and download a mobile wallet. You touched on it before, but please just elaborate for me on what that entails and how persons will be able to utilize this function.
Sure. That's one aspect that we would have shared with wallet providers and our key stakeholders. We would have indicated that some form of mobile device or application, like a mobile app, would be better suited to support central bank digital currency. But that doesn't negate the fact that there's a lot of innovation that's in the market. So we want persons to compete. We want wallet providers and entities to compete to provide, different innovation, different instruments that the Jamaican citizens will utilize to transact using their CBDC. So that's just one option, but certainly innovation will drive, the next best payment instrument to be used and supporting CBDC.
So, persons have their, they're accustomed to using their cards or, interacting with banks and so on in, typical ways.
Yes.
ATMs, going to the bank, that kind of thing. Will this introduction of this currency, will that change how that operates? Will there be some familiarity with how persons use the currency and be able to use it to do their typical transactions?
Well, as we mentioned, it's any mobile device. So persons are used to their mobile device, their mobile phone, right? So we want to make it as simple and easy as possible. So as simple as, typing in your password on your mobile device, it's as simple as that. We want it to be as simple as that. Some persons have the new phones where you can take a selfie and the phone open. We want, persons to be able to utilize their device, something that they're used to transact and access CBDC. So we want there's a particular technology that we're eyeing, and that's the quick response code, or we call it a QR code. We've seen it a lot lately in the newspapers. You just flash your phone with the camera, and that's the technology we want to utilize underneath central bank digital currency.
All right, so it seems like you're leaving a lot of room for technology to fill in certain gaps, or just basically create new platforms completely so that persons can interact with it and make it their own, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so, as we close, talk to me about the naming competition that you're introducing for the CBDC digital currency. Talk to me about that.
Sure. We wanted to ensure that we have a name for the central bank digital currency, as well as a logo, a tagline, and an image that represents central bank digital currency. Earlier this year, this month, I think the 4th of June, we closed our naming competition. It was sent to the public. It was published publicly. And we wanted the Jamaican public to name the currency that they will be utilizing. So right now, the placeholder name is CBDC, right? Central bank digital currency.
Not exactly the sexiest thing in the world, right?
Not at all, but we wanted the public to name the currency, just so it resonates with us.
Absolutely.
Right. So we're waiting on that, and the assessments are currently being done.
So more details will be shared about that as we progress.
Yes, it will.
All right. So I'm gonna give you the last word, Mr. Griffiths. Just once again, give me a recap of the benefits of introducing this central bank digital currency to members of the public. Just make your pitch to them to let them really embrace it and make it their own as Jamaicans.
Sure. Thanks. But let me start by saying central bank digital currency is money, but it is money in a digital form. And because it's digital, it has to be placed in our wallet. But the benefits are certainly great. The benefits is the costless nature. We want it to be at zero cost to the end user, similar to banknotes and coins or money in your pocket. We also want it to be convenient. No longer will you need to walk around with large sums of cash. It will all be digital. You can walk to your corner shop and make a payment. And if it is that you don't want to walk and you want to pay somebody remotely from wherever you are for goods and services, you can do so with a central bank digital currency. And, safety is a key aspect, right? We want to ensure that the digital currency that we're bringing on, the central bank digital currency, is safe and even safer than cash.
All right, Mr. Griffith, thank you so much for coming by, and this has been a most enlightening conversation. Looking forward to seeing where this actually goes, right?
You're welcome.
Folks, there you have it. Exciting times ahead. We could talk a lot more, but this is where we're going to end our conversation for today. This has been Get the Facts. Our guest was Mario Griffiths, Director of the Payment System, Policy and Development Department at the Bank of Jamaica. For more information on the central bank digital currency, you can visit their website, boj.org.jm. Until next time, when Get the Facts brings you, as always, more important information, I'm Vaughn Davis. Thank you for watching, and do take care.